According to Suleman Dawood's aunt, he was terrified of going on the Titan submersible, but he did it anyway to please his father for Father's Day weekend. Let's get more into the life of Suleman and what his family and friends have to say. Hi everyone, Empowering True Crime Alex, and it's such a tragedy to hear of what happened with the passengers of the submersible that happened to implode on day one when it was ascending onto the Titanic. There was a massive search effort, a lot of hope was put into this search, and it ended tragically right from the beginning. Which, if there is any, I guess you can call it consolation, they died instantly, painlessly with such an implosion at that depth in the ocean. Suleman happened to be I hope I'm saying that correctly, happened to be the youngest passenger. He was only 19 years old, and he was accompanying his father, 48-year-old Shahzada Dawood, and he lost his life, sadly. You know, he was a university student. And we'll just give a moment of silence for Suleman and his family and the other passengers who tragically died. So if you don't know about Empowering True Crime, we strive to be the voice for the voiceless, missing persons, and survivors. And if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, I appreciate if you do, and hit the thumbs up if you like this video. Let's dive into a few statements from family and also from university. 19-year-old Titan passenger was terrified before the trip, his aunt says. In the days before the Titan vessel went into the ocean off the coast of Newfoundland, Canada, the 19-year-old university student accompanying his father on the expedition expressed hesitation about going, his aunt said in an interview Thursday. Suleman Dawood, the older sister of Pakistani businessman Shahzada, told NBC News that her nephew Suleman informed a relative that he wasn't very up for it and felt terrified about the trip to explore the wreckage of the Titanic. But the 19-year-old ended up going aboard OceanGate's 22-foot submersible because the trip fell over Father's Day weekend, and he was eager to please his dad, who was passionate about the lore of the Titanic, according to Asma. I'm thinking of Suleman, who was 19 in there, just perhaps gasping for breath. It's been crippling, to be honest. Here's a photo of them together. She was devastated on Thursday when OceanGate, the company behind the Titan expedition, confirmed that all 5 passengers aboard were presumed dead. The U.S. Coast Guard said that debris in the search area was consistent with a catastrophic implosion. I feel disbelief, she said, speaking through sobs. It's an unreal situation. The last 4 days were agonizing for Asma. She was glued to television news coverage of the hunt for Titan, desperate for updates about her brother and nephew, and fearing the worst. I feel like I've been caught in a really bad film with a countdown, but you didn't know what you're counting down to, she said. I personally have found it kind of difficult to breathe thinking of them. I never thought I would have an issue with drawing breath. It's been unlike any experience I've ever had. Asma and Shahzada are scions of one of the most prominent corporate dynasties in Pakistan. The family's namesake business empire, Dawood Hercules Corp, has investments in agriculture, the health sector, and other industries. Shahzada was the vice chairman of the Karachi-based Engro Corporation and an advisor to Prince's Trust International, a charitable organization founded by King Charles III. In recent years, Asma had fallen out of touch with Shahzada. He was my baby brother, she said, weeping and seemingly overwhelmed with emotion. I held him up when he was born. In a statement, Asma and Shahzada's parents asked people to keep the departed souls and our family in your prayers, and thank the search team for their untiring efforts. The immense love and support we receive continues to help us endure this unimaginable loss, Hussein and Kulsum Dawood said. Asma recalled that Shahzada was absolutely obsessed with the Titanic from a young age. When they were kids in Pakistan, the Dawood siblings would constantly watch the 1958 film A Night to Remember, a British drama about the sinking of the cruise liner. She recounted that when Shahzada met her husband, he asked if they could sit down and watch a 4-hour documentary about the Titanic. Shahzada also loved going to see museum exhibitions featuring artifacts recovered from the wreckage. She was not surprised when she learned that her brother had purchased tickets for the OceanGate mission. It was not something she would ever do, she explained. If you gave me $1 million, I would not have gotten into the Titan. Asma spent part of Thursday afternoon looking at old family photos, trying to make sense of the tragedy that befell her brother and nephew. and grappling with the emotional ripple effect around the world. I feel very bad that the whole world has had to go through so much trauma, so much suspense. Which is interesting that she's thinking also about what, everyone else is feeling as well. And here's an article from Mirror, who I normally don't like to quote, but they actually shared this really touching photo of them together, father and son. I thought that was really sweet. This was a beautiful little photo here. Article says, dad and son who passed away in Titanic sub-tragedy died hand in hand. The British father and son who perished in the Titanic tourist tragedy died hand in hand, their family said. Yesterday, as their family led tributes to the two, saying the relationship between father and son was a joy to behold, fierce criticism of the sub's operator grew. In a statement on behalf of the Dawoods, it read, with profound sorrow, we mourn the tragic loss of Shahzada and his beloved son, Suleman, who had embarked on a journey to visit the remnants of the legendary Titanic in the depth of the Atlantic Ocean. In this unfathomable tragedy, we try to find solace in the enduring legacy of humility and humanity that they have left behind, and find comfort in the belief that they passed on to the next leg of their spiritual journey, hand in hand, father and son. The pair were each other's greatest supporters and cherished a shared passion for adventure and exploration of all the world had to offer them. It continued, by being as they were with one another, they embodied valuable lessons on the pursuit of knowledge, exploration of the unknown, and bonds of familial friendship. Family values are a guiding beacon for the Dawood family, and Shahzada always strived to emulate these, teaching his children to do the same. Suleman's former Surrey school, ACS International School Cobham, described the ex-pupil as a remarkable young man, saying his compelling enthusiasm could fill a room. The tributes came after the teenager's aunt revealed the Rubik's Cube-loving teen was terrified about taking the ill-fated trick, but decided to go along to please his dad. Because all these statements always kind of give like little piecemeal pieces. This one here in People says, the father and son leave behind Christine, wife and mother, and Alina, daughter and sister. The tribute painted a picture of a family that was affectionate with each other, would often cook together, and had very philosophical conversations about life. At the center of this family was Christine, who held them all together like glue, having fully devoted herself to these wonderful individuals whom she fiercely loved and protected. And I also wanted to read a statement here from University of Strathclyde in Glasgow. This is a statement about our student, Suleman Dawood. I'm sorry if I mispronounce any of these names. I'm trying my best. To the Strathclyde community, I'm writing to you this morning following last night's update from the U.S. Coast Guard. We are shocked and profoundly saddened by the death of Suleman Dawood and his father in this tragic accident. The entire Strathclyde community offers our deepest condolences to the Dawood family and all those affected by this terrible accident. Our student well-being team remains on hand to offer appropriate support to Suleman's classmates and the wider Strathclyde community at this difficult time. We'd also like to remind you once more about our well-being hub, which is available to everyone across the Strathclyde community. The hub has many resources to help with emotional and mental well-being. With best wishes, Jim, Professor Sir Jim MacDonald, Principal and Vice Chancellor, University of Strathclyde. That brings up a really great point, that with any of these tragedies, even complex missing persons searches and such, we never really talk about the grieving process. It sounds like it's really only brought up in universities. I really wish that there were more resources in place for a community at large. So what do you think? Suleman was a first year at the university. He was only 19 years old, and he was terrified of going on the Titan, but he agreed to go to please his father. I usually end my messages with, always follow your intuition, because our guidance, we know the answers. Maybe his fear wasn't unwarranted, right? And so we can't do anything about the past at this point, but it is just really interesting to see and really heartbreaking knowing that he was terrified of going. It's like telling somebody to go to space that doesn't really want to be in space. Not to say that he didn't want to go to the Titanic. Of course, I'm sure he did. Probably thought it was really cool, but didn't sound like it was a passion like it necessarily was with the others on board. So what are the learning lessons that we can see here? In this case, I see in this type of very risky procedure, make sure that the individuals who are on board, even if they're tourists, are experienced, want to be there, don't have any fear about going, or minimal fear, of course, but that their excitement for being there outweighs any fear that they have of going there, because he trusted his father and he trusted the submersible company. Well, I'd love to hear your thoughts. I just thought it was really nice to hear a little bit more about him, the family, and their thoughts on this, and would love to hear your thoughts on this. Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, if you learned something new, hit the thumbs up. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel and you want to be part of the empowering family, empowering voices, giving a voice to missing persons, survivors, and the voiceless, then make sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell for notifications every time that I post. And with that, stay safe, stay thriving, always follow your intuition, and remember to keep it empowering. Bye for now. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell button for notifications. Thank you.